Elliot Mintz, A Sound Portrait. Michael Levine.
It isn't the fine diamonds or the crystalline face of the watch that gets the job done. It is the unseen mechanism inside that functions. Publicists are an unseen mechanism that make the entertainment industry work. The blurb in the newspaper, the piece in the magazine, the mention on your favorite late-night television show are all masterminded by the craftsmen of public relations. One of the biggest names in the Hollywood PR world would have to be Michael Levine. His company, Levine Communications Office, has represented some of the most iconic names in entertainment. Trusting in the master craftsmen were Michael Jackson, Charlton Heston, and George Carlin, among others. Michael Levine is the author of 17 books. His numerous radio, television, and print appearances have made Michael Levine an authority on the media, fame, and public relations. Michael Levine met and befriended Elliot Mintz. The two had much in common, as Mintz became a media consultant after his broadcasting years concluded. Now, let us join Michael Levine, craftsman of public relations.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest is one of the best-known experts in the field of publicity. Steve Allen called him the Michael Jordan of entertainment PR. He is the founder of Levine Communication Offices and the author of several best-selling books. He'll be joining us to talk about publicity and in particular his friendship with Hollywood legend Elliot Mintz. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us.
I'm honored to be sharing your valuable audience.
Not too long ago, in speaking with Elliot Mintz, he said that you are one of the best publicists he's ever encountered. I would have to ask you, what do you say makes a good publicist?
I'm happy to answer your question, but let me just comment on that if I may. First of all, that is a very, very kind, unnecessarily generous, kind remark that Elliot made about me. I cannot believe that I would define Elliot as the most brilliant media consultant ever. Not this year, not last year. He would be, in the entertainment realm, the most brilliant media consultant ever. And so the fact that I could even be in the same top 10 list, that is just hard to imagine. And I really believe that. I mean, independent of my friendship with Elliot and my love of Elliot, I really believe, as I think about and I talk to him, I am awestruck by his capacity to understand communications. Okay, now then, you say to me, Michael, what makes a good publicist? Well, I think good publicists have a capacity to understand communications well, and they have a good capacity to understand news well, and they have a good capacity to blend the two well, and so forth. So there we are. It's a natural gift in large part. I mean, I wrote a book on PR called Guerrilla PR, which is the best-selling PR book of all time, and I think you can teach people a lot of stuff through that book or through books, but there's also a natural capacity.
You said a moment ago that you felt like Elliot more or less personifies what it is to be a good publicist.
He's the most brilliant communications mind of our time, way, way beyond a traditional publicist, from my point of view.
So it's his incredible ability as a communicator that you think...
An incredible psychological capacity to read people, read situations. First of all, if you know Elliot at all, Elliot listens to people with intensity that is Freud-like. He has an ability to listen intensely to a human's words and actions and read things that, frankly, other people might not perceive as acutely.
How did you meet Elliot, and what was your first impression when you first looked into his eyes?
Well, I've known of Elliot for my entire professional life and admired him. with very different careers. Elliot's approach to clients was to have a few that paid him a good deal of money, and he did a brilliant job on their behalf. I, on the other hand, went a different route. I had a much larger firm with many, 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 many more clients, and had a bigger entity. He had a smaller, more boutique entity. So I've known Elliot all my professional life, but we became friends a couple of years ago. And I would say that you do not need to be Freud or Einstein to look into Elliot's eyes and know that he's a very unique guy. This is not your average bear. I'll say that.
What is something about Elliot Mintz we would be surprised to know?
One thing I think that might surprise you, I mean, you had number of superstar clients that he's had, that he's very humble. He does not think of himself, and he's not grandiose. He's not a narcissist. Very self-effacing, very humble, very generous. He's run counter to the stereotypes of most people in Hollywood.
He's just launched this website, ElliotMintz.com.
Yep. Fascinating.
Yes, very.
If I could just mention, one of the things I think that's fascinating, I mean, if you're interested in Elliot Mintz, I think it's a very fascinating website. But let's imagine you're not interested in Elliot Mintz. You're just interested in the times in which Elliot Mintz lived. You're interested in the 70s, and the 60s, and the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and the 2000s. It's fascinating. Fascinating. You're going to go on a walk on a beach in Malibu, California, with John Lennon, and you're going to talk to John about the Beatles breakup. Really? That's pretty big. That's pretty interesting. And there's just countless things that are fascinating about the times, the zeitgeist of that era.
What do you think that's motivating him to put this all out there? 'Cause it's all free.
Yeah, it's all free. Because I think that one of Elliot's uniquenesses is that he does not, as Cordy, I'm just paraphrasing his words, he doesn't think the website's about him. He thinks the website's about the world and the times in which he lived. So I have to take his words at face value and think that that's a need that he has to communicate. He has an unbelievable amount of material to share. He's been at the center point of so much of entertainment industry and pop culture history. It's rather remarkable.
Thank you very much for your perspectives and your time.
Thank you, brother. God bless.
Thank you. You too.
Nice to talk to you.